everyone, a very good of you and welcome. So here I am with another editorial session for all of you, and I hope that you are able to hear me, see me properly. Kindly give me a heads up for the same. Or Arch का article again we have taken from the editorial. We have regular sessions over here. First of all, those who don't know me, my name is Harika Jawan and I have been teaching जो यहाँ पर क्लासेस हमारी हो रही हैं मंडे वेंसडे और फ्राइडे हो रही हैं 1:30 and then we have Monday to Saturday 8 p.m. editorial classes where we cover vocabulary, grammar, use skimming, very important part for any of you who wants to work on all the aspects है ना तो जो भी है एक साथ आपको एक पैकेज वे में मिल जाए तो जल्दी से लाइक और शेयर कर दो सेशन को मेक श्योर दैट यू हैव सब्सक्राइब द चैनल एंड इफ यू वांट फ्री पीडीएफ जॉइन आवर टेलीग्राम लिंक इज इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन तो आप लोग स्किमिंग करोगे सबसे पहले आई गिव यू 2.5 मिनट हैव टू जंप एंड रीड ओके यू हैव टू स्किप सम वर्ड्स स्टिल ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड कि एक सेंटेंस में मेन बात क्या कन्वे करी गई है एंड वंस यू आर डन रीडिंग द होल थिंग दिस वे you need to mention the summary of it in a line or two the comment section so that I know कि आपने सही point पकड़ा है you don't need to go through it just like आप translate कर रहे हो no need to go through it like you have to memorize read in a way जैसे एक advertisement फटाफट read कर दे okay and you should be good to go so now would be the time for you guys start reading I'll scroll for you okay here we go anyone if you read that would be okay. So the message goes this way. Nuclear spectre on the risk of an era of nuclear brinkmanship. Brinkmanship means something which includes high stakes and a lot of strategy. So, the high stakes with respect to nuclear energy, nuclear progress, advances, that's what we are going to see. Israeli and US actions against Iran amount to nuclear brink. Of course, author is going to talk about these three countries and how things have become risky because of the action of these two countries and against Iran. So after a 12-day intense missile barrage and air attacks following Israel's illegal aerial attacks on Iran, after this whole series of attacks, the two countries finally announced a ceasefire on Tuesday. Ostensibly, that means apparently what looks like conducted as a preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. Uh, Earlier, it seems like a strike on the nuclear facilities. The Israeli attacks graduated into a full fledged war that also involved US strikes on Iranian nuclear installations. पहले लगता था केवल ईरान न्यूक्लियर फैसिलिटी पर इजरायली अटैक कर रहे हैं, but then it turned into a full form of war where even the US got involved. These attacks, in blithely ignoring the dangers of radioactive leakage. Blithely का मतलब होता है carelessly, not thinking about it at all, about the dangers of radioactive leakage, and their subsequent responses point to the stark nature of the fragile international order. Subsequent responses and to the point, to the stark nature, means to the very specific nature of a fragile international order, that is the hierarchy of the nations on international platform, now threatened by escalating nuclear risk from West Asia to Ukraine and even the Indian subcontinent. तो ये जो पूरा यहाँ पर अटैक्स के कारण चेन रिएक्शन जैसे दिख रहा है, एवरीबडी हियर इज कमिंग इनटू इट इन दिस वे दैट इट्स अफेक्टिंग. It says attacks on Iran must have damaged its nuclear installations and in particular its uranium enrichment capabilities. Attacks से क्या क्या हुआ, damaged installation, nuclear installation capabilities पर असर पड़ा. Yet its naked aggression was against a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. This naked aggression, that author is, when he chooses to say it this way, means that it was open to everyone. Nothing was hidden. ऐसा कोई strategically hide नहीं करा. खुल्लम खुल्ला जो aggression दिखा, that was again this treaty, and a country that had willingly subjected its facilities to international scrutiny, and it was against a country that of course has said, okay, go ahead and check our facilities, international level, it has granted the permission for that. Iran has also signed the joint plan of action with P5+1, 2 plus Germany, nuclear armed states plus Germany, to ensure that its nuclear capabilities remained peaceful. Already Iran has signed the pact, the plan of action, where it's gonna not use its nuclear power, nuclear advancements in offensive manner as per the treaty, only for it to be rendered meaningless after the US withdrew from it during President Donald Trump's first term. तो फर्स्ट टर्म में यूएस ने वहाँ से न्यूक्लियर आर्म स्टेट्स में से एक यूएस भी था और उसने विड्रॉ कर लिया अपने आप को. These attacks now create a new dynamic that shows कि अच्छा अब यहाँ पे कौन कितना पावरफुल है, कौन किसकी तरफ है. Things have changed, wherein Iran is compelled to seek nuclear weapons by withdrawing from its commitments. Now, author says यहाँ पे इस situation में Iran is sort of forced because of the situation to seek nuclear weapons by withdrawing its commitments. Its parliament is now mulling a bill to exit the NPT. अब NPT से बाहर हो जाएंगे. That says कि हम शांति के साथ न्यूक्लियर का यूज करेंगे. So then you can think why would they do that and use them as a deterrent. Deterrent मतलब लड़ाई रोकने के लिए हम अब यूज करेंगे. Meanwhile, any step Iran takes to do so could be used to justify further aggression by Israel and the US. और अगर ऐसा कुछ ईरान करता है तब तो इसराइल और यूएस के पास में और रीजन हो जाएगा टू शो देयर अग्रेशन, thereby rejecting international laws and NPT's non-proliferation norm. और इस तरह से इंटरनेशनल ट्रीटी एंड नॉर्म्स के अंतर्गत जहाँ पे दे कैन वर्क ऑन द न्यूक्लियर डेवलपमेंट्स बट दे आर restrained फ्रॉम यूजिंग दैट, वो खतरे में आ जाएगा, राइट? I hope you are following me. No one has given me anything yet. This raises the possibility that it values nuclear weapons not for deterrence. Okay, sorry. Let's read from here. Israel's hypocrisy is stark. Abhi author is of course blaming Israel and saying that uska jo hypocrisy hai, that you don't want to use, you are destroying nuclear facilities, saying that they might use, but you are actually provoking them to use the same. This is the stark thing. Hypocrisy is sharply, it's sharp at the both end. It remains a non-signatory to the NPT. Israel is not the main signatory of NPT and refuses any oversight of its undeclared but known arsenal. So it refuses any kind of oversight जो कि known तो है पर declared नहीं है. You like you know, people may know कि okay, Israel has this kind of arsenal, but it never declared publicly. So oversight is omission of something, so it refuses any omission of such arsenal. This raises the possibility that it values nuclear weapons not for deterrence but for their destructive potential. तो इसको interpret क्या कर रहे हैं? तो या फिर at least author, that there is a possibility that Israel looks at nuclear weapons more for destructive purpose. US protection emboldens it to pursue destructive policies in Gaza and illegal wars in West Asia. So US protection, since US is supporting Israel, it makes them even stronger to go ahead with their destructive policies. Combined with the Russia threat to use nuclear weapons to deter conventional aggression by NATO, following its Ukraine invasion, these actions reveal अभी क्या हुआ है ना, combined with first of all already things are going on. So combined with those things like US threat, Russian threat to nuclear weapons to deter the aggression by NATO. The Russia ने भी threat दिया, हम भी use करेंगे, कभी भी कर सकते. These actions reveal how renewed competition among the great powers. Now great powers are, some are saying that we could use, some are saying that we don't want to use, and their cynical understanding of deterrence, very negative understanding that रोकने के लिए we have to go offensive, this mentality. Things are dismantling global stability. So all these things are hurting the peace, harmony on international level, global level. The idea of nuclear disarmament is in tatters as the nuclear weapon states continue to expand and modernize their arsenals. तो जिनके पास में न्यूक्लियर पावर है वो तो अभी भी वर्क कर रहा है, एडवांसमेंट के ऊपर काम करे जा रहा है, एक्सक्यूज मी, and that's how it is happening. While non-proliferation is under threat as other countries turn to nuclear weapons to safeguard themselves. So non-proliferation की हम इसको लाइफ डिस्ट्रॉय करने के लिए यूज नहीं करेंगे. It is under threat. Now people are threatening, countries are threatening, they are turning, they are saying that we could use if required nuclear weapons to protect ourselves. This is the mentality going on without a renewed diplomatic impetus to reestablish international norms. Now if we don't have some strong international norms on a conflict, a stronger push for disarmament among all nuclear armed states. We also want a stronger push so that these nuclear armed states should leave the thought of using it, and a firm commitment to uphold NPT, to uphold the peace treaty in the context of not using nuclear. If these things are not done, then the world risks sliding into a new era of nuclear brinkmanship. कभी भी nuclear risk रहेगा. That could prove more dangerous than the Cold War's darkest moments. Cold War में जो हुआ था darkest moments में, उस जितना खराब था उससे ज़्यादा रहेगा, because things will be that any country can anytime use its nuclear arsenal, or you know, can utilize the advancements जो उसमें हुए हैं. Cool. So we'll see some word meanings now. Brinkmanship means high stakes strategy, risky diplomacy, risk in nuclear related risk. Blindly means casually without any care. Fragile is anything that is unstable, so weak ki jara se jhatke mein it could break, it could lose its structure. Aggression is hostility and attack. Ostensibly means apparently, जैसे दिख रहा है बाहरी रूप से. Deterrent is preventive measure, anything जो कि रोकने में मदद करे, that is deterrent. Hypocrisy is duplicity. You expect, for example, you expect everyone to tell you truth, but you yourself are a liar. This is being hypocritic. Undeclared is something which is a secret thing, not declared. Emboldens means encourage karna, provoke karna, uh, in a positive or negative way, that depends on the sentence. Tatters. In tatters means things are in shambles, tukde tukde, chote chote, ruin mein. Cynical is distrustful, where something is skeptical, negative, बहुत ही स्वार्थपूर्ण हो. Impetus is the stimulus needed for something to move ahead, to go ahead. तो ये आपके meanings थे. Okay? For you people to answer some questions. Subject verb agreement. Subject, verb. Good job. Subject and main verb and tense and voice of the sentence. Subject verb agreement, what's the subject, what's the verb, and then voice kaun si hai, which voice is used, active or passive, and tense. Tell me all these things. These attacks point. Okay, since it is verb first form, only used in simple present tense, active voice, so that's your answer. Part of speech. This is adjective. Peaceful is adjective. Part of speech. It is an adjective again. Further, it is in fact second degree, that's comparative degree. Part of speech. No, it's a noun. Understanding of what? Simple what का question है. Last one. Subject verb agreement of this thing. Without A, B, C, D, ना तो without वाला ही चीजें हो गया. So the word risks, word singular, risks उसका main verb है. Okay. The tone of this passage is critical and cautionary. Critical, of course, because it talks about the severity of a whole nuclear issue going on and attacks going on. And cautionary is what could be done. We have to be cautious because the world dynamic is power dynamic is changing globally. The editorial condemns Israeli and US airstrikes on Iran's nuclear sites. Of course, author is against the attacks, describing them as acts of nuclear brinkmanship that endanger global security. So it's saying that because of this, it's more like um, putting global security at risk. These aggressive actions, especially against a signatory to the NPT, जो कि ईरान है, not only flout international norms, but could also trigger Iran's withdrawal. ना केवल शांति को भंग कर रहा है, but then ईरान अगर पीछे हो गया, then it would be free to use its nuclear power from the treaty and pursuit of nuclear weapons as a deterrent. Meanwhile, Israel's own non-compliance with NPT and US support expose glaring double standards. खुद तो सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा इसराइल एनपीटी को, दैट इज टू मेंटेन पीस इवन इफ यू हैव लाइक नॉट यूज न्यूक्लियर वेपन फॉर रॉन्ग पर्पसेस. With similar tensions escalating in Ukraine and beyond, the peace again article warns of a dangerous breakdown of the global nuclear order. Global nuclear order में अभी changes हो रहे हैं. Urgent diplomatic revival of disarmament, मतलब वो arms अब में उससे दूर होना पड़ेगा, छोड़ने पड़ेंगे, कुछ करना पड़ेगा, not to use them, and recommitment to the international law. तो वो बात यहाँ highlighted है. Question number 1. B is the answer here. According to the editorial, what long-term risk does the Iran-Israel conflict pose? Diminished ऑयल एक्सपोर्ट्स मेंशन नहीं है. स्ट्रेंथनिंग ऑफ यूएस ईरान टाइज, वो तो अगेंस्ट है. इरोजन ऑफ न्यूक्लियर नॉन प्रोलिफरेशन नॉर्म्स. Answer is D. What consequence of US withdrawal highlighted in the editorial is highlighted? So the consequence is boost in the regional diplomacy. वो जो power changes की बात हुई है. Strengthening oil in the oil तो है ही नहीं ना. Weakening of nuclear oversight mechanism. No. US withdrawal से क्या highlight करा गया है? It's about that. So it is boost in the regional diplomacy. Answer is B. What justification does editorial suggest Israel may use for further aggression? तो further aggression के लिए क्या बोलेगा? It steps toward nuclear weaponization. ईरान को बोला पहले, I mean, Iran was not going to use it, but it attacked Iran. Iran can use now nuclear weapon for as a deterrence, and then Israel is going to say that we are doing this for the very same reason. See, they used it. How does the editorial describe the global nuclear disarmament situation? So it describes something, this situation as rapidly progressing due to bilateral talks. Abandoned in favor of, oh, how it is abandoned? Disarmament wali situation na, that they should stop using it. So author is first of all in the favor of this, and but he describes it as something that is rapidly progressing. Big bilateral talks means because of two nations teaming up, maybe supporting each other, maybe, right? UN members is a very specific option. C answer होगा नहीं. Strengthened by non-aligned movements, इनके बारे में कुछ mention नहीं है. फिफ्थ इज बी. या ऑनगोइंग रिस्क का सोल्यूशन क्या बोला है ऑथर ने? अ डिप्लोमेटिक पुश फॉर नॉर्म्स एंड disarmament. B is the answer. Okay, B is the answer. Typo mistake है, ignore it. error detection. Fifth का आंसर बी है. E. The company's profits, along with its market share, profits have declined steadily over the past 2 quarters. कुछ भी गलत नहीं. Profits, along with वाला I explained yesterday. Profits plural है, have. Next one. Okay. So if the data was accurate, we might have been able to identify the issue at an earlier stage. Now, I told you again, I think 2 days back we were discussing this, that the word data is a collective noun and we use it as a collection as a whole, or we could use it in its units form. That is, we consider that there are multiple things in this data. So data were accurate. Now please understand why we are going to use were, because we might have been able to identify the issue. That means we went through a lot of information, many pieces of information. And that's why in this condition, this is to be considered plural. Data were. Mostly data जो word है वो plural ही माना जाता है. Answer is simple, very simple here. Neither of the candidates is qualified for the managerial position at our department. So you will have to change it. At department नहीं होगा, department के अंदर parameters of the department की बात है. We want preposition in. So in our department. Neither of, either of, each of, they take noun, that is plural, but the verb is singular. So that is correct. In our department, preposition mistake. The board has decided to lay off employees. Which are employees are people, they are living beings, so who were underperforming over the last fiscal year. Okay. The 10th one answer is C. Not only the CEO but also senior managers were questioning नहीं, were questioned. Okay. Oh, यहाँ पे question दिए. So questioning question, that was your answer. ओपन बुक टेस्ट हो गया ये तो. ओपन बुक क्या, लीक्ड आंसर. Is the answer. The agency issued a warning. Now, no, sorry. So agency issued a warning. What kind of warning? Vague. Why agency is gonna give you unclear warning, dismissive, jubilant warning that comes with a lot of joy? No. Warning itself is not gonna be. It's gonna be opposite of joy. So it's a stern, strict, straightforward warning about something. 12th one. The scheme was dashed to ensure, it was devised to ensure small scale entrepreneurs could access affordable credit. So, whenever a plan is made, usually negative planning is called devising, but then still it's a scheme, it's a plan, it was made after giving it a thought, so devised. Inflate nahi hoga, inflate is to swell up something. Like you inflate a balloon, आप उसमें हवा भरते हो. Okay, to increase something in the size, withdrawn and obstructed, easy words है. Next. The new regulations aim to enhance transparency in the procurement process. So replicate नहीं होगा, because replicate करना transparency में क्या, किस बात का aim है? Suppress we don't want, negative word नहीं चाहिए, transparency एक अच्छी चीज है, so enhance. The firm has earned a dash reputation, कैसी भी हो सकती है, for consistently delivering high quality products. So good reputation होगी. And the word here is stellar. This is a very nice word, like vocabulary that you can use in your descriptive also. Stellar, first of all, it relates with something that has to do with the stars, but you can always think something that is exceptionally good, just like a star. हम बोलते हैं ना star performer था वो तो. That level of results if we get, outstanding thing, उसके लिए हम stellar का use करते हैं. A is your answer. Despite strong criticism, the policy was dashed by the Legislative Council. Policy was passed. Despite criticism को follow करते तो नहीं करना चाहिए था pass. But despite that, so there you go. आपके answers थे. Okay. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. And time for me to leave. I'll meet you guys tomorrow. Do not worry. Just keep practicing. Keep correcting yourselves, because I hope one day in exam when you are stuck, my voice somewhere behind your mind, your brain will tell you what to do in that situation, what could be the right answer. And that's why